All right, as you can see, we're joined by Chase Elliott from Hendrick Motorsports. We'll open it up to questions. We'll start up front here with Reed and then go to Mike.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Chase, winning the pole at Daytona is sort of a Hendrick Motorsports tradition, and even more so for Chevrolet, which I think goes back to 2013 and Danica's pole here. Looked like you guys had really good single car speed yesterday as well. I mean, is that a really important aspect of your trip to Daytona down here, is the emphasis on the pole?
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather win on Sunday, personally. I think anybody on our team would tell you the same. But, you know, I feel like we've always had fast cars down here, and speedway racing has never been overlooked at HMS. And Alan does a really good job of massaging and really paying attention to all the details that I feel like it takes to be good here. And I feel like that's shown. I mean, over the course of my time with him, and even going back, before me, there's been a lot of success there. So I do think it's an area where they put a lot of emphasis and put a lot of work into the cars. But we all want to win on Sunday worse than anything.
We're going to go to Mike and then Bruce and then Mark.
Mike Hembry from Auto Week. What kind of bourbon do you collect, if any?
I don't. I'm not much of a bourbon collector.
Tomorrow night's going to be the first real high-speed competition for this car. How much do you know about it in that context, and what do you expect that we haven't seen yet, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's probably the questions that haven't really been answered, and until we get into that environment, probably won't be. What little bit of drafting that has gone on, there's just not really been enough, at least the ones I've been a part of, there haven't been enough cars to really create the energy and the things that are real and that you're going to see on Sunday. I even have often, in my experience, have noticed that the duel, there's really not enough cars even in that event, and enough sense of urgency to where the runs happen the same on Thursday night as they do on Sunday, even in that deal. So until we get in that environment, it's really honestly hard to say.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport. Asked somebody in here earlier if the new car helps, I don't want to use the term level the field, but keeps the gap, brings the gap maybe closer together. Or do you see that it's still the good teams are still going to be the good teams and will always have an edge?
That's my opinion. I think that it's I think that's going to be tough to ever debunk that, in my opinion. I mean, hopefully it opens the opportunity for people to come in and be able to get up to speed a little quicker. But I definitely think the teams that have the experience and have the resources to study and R&D and do all the things that you need to do are likely going to have the edge.
Going to go to Mark, Claire, and then Lee.
Mark Garrow, PRN, to the right. There we go. I had to move, make sure I knew what your right was. Doing a feature on the race at COTA, you won that race last year. How, I guess, grateful were you to, like, it was over and you had won, and just talk about what you had to do to survive that race?
Yeah, that was a crazy race. Definitely the hardest rain I've ever raced in, but I actually thought it was kind of fun. It was, you couldn't see much, but it was, like that back straightaway, it was pretty crazy how little you could see, but I thought it was good. It's different, why not? I enjoyed it. So obviously we got fortunate with them calling the race early. We were in a situation where we probably weren't going to make it on gas. We had plenty enough pace, I feel like, to compete with those guys, but just the way our strategy worked out, we were probably going to be in trouble. So just kind of took a gamble, at staying out as long as we could, and unfortunately it went in our favor. So yeah, I can't complain.
Any close calls? One of the drivers in here earlier said that, I think it was Tyler Reddick, said he blew by a guy who was literally getting out of his car, never had wrecked, and he never saw him. Did you have any instances where you flash by something like, whoa, didn't see that?
Yeah, no, that's scary for sure. No, I fortunately didn't have one like that.
Go ahead, Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I'm going to be on before qualifying, and a lot of times qualifying is not really a big deal here, as you know. And well, it is for your team maybe, but we were talking to Christopher Bell, and he said a lot of the times it doesn't mean a whole lot, but that teams like Hendrick put a lot of attention into qualifying, and you've done really well at qualifying here. With the new car, same amount of attention on qualifying. How do you look at qualifying? What's the emphasis there, and how will it be different with the new car?
I mean, I don't think qualifying will likely be, a ton different. And it probably doesn't matter anymore, this week than it does typically. I don't think you have to qualify well to be really good on Sunday or even to have a shot to win. But like I said earlier, HMS has always done a really nice job of putting emphasis on qualifying. I think it's easy to kind of overlook the speedways just because there's so few of them. And I think across the garage that probably does happen some amongst some of the other teams. But, I think for us it's been a great opportunity to give our sponsors some great exposure. And to me that's probably the biggest piece of value in qualifying well here is, for Napa, they've had the chance twice now to be on the front page of the paper down here and kind of be the headline leading into the Daytona 500, which I think has value, and I don't see how they couldn't see that as value too. So our team does a good job of putting themselves, in a position where our partners can take advantage of the start of our year.
And do you feel like with this being the new car and everybody's so focused on the attention that takes and the parts, et cetera, same amount of energy and emphasis on qualifying here for you guys at Hendrick?
Yeah, I feel like our, a lot of emphasis has been put into our speedway cars for this race, and we want to race the car that we unloaded with on Sunday too. So, we're excited and prepared, and I feel like we've put as much effort and energy into it as we always have.
I'm going to go to Lee, Jenna, and then Heidi. Right over there, Lee.
Thank you for joining us. We've heard a lot about drivers looking outside their comfort zone. I know Alex, is racing sprint cars. Bowman was at, William Byron was over at New Smyrna. You did Nitro Rallycross, and then, your experience at Chili Bowl. Not sure if you want to go back to Chili Bowl after that last one, but what might be next on your, wish list?
Yeah, I enjoyed all the stuff I did over the winter. Enjoyed the Rallycross thing. I enjoyed the Chili Bowl. I know it didn't go good, but enjoyed the Chili Bowl. Felt like I, made gains on that stuff through the winter, which I was excited about. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do this year just yet. We'll see as it kind of unfolds. But I don't really have anything locked down right now to go and run. Just currently focused on this deal and wanting to get into a good place here and try to have a really strong season. So we'll see. I'm certainly not ruling anything out. If something comes along that I like and feel like is a good opportunity, I'll likely take it. Yep.
I'll go to Jenna and then Heidi.
Hey, Chase.
Hey.
Jeff Gordon had some quotes this week. I think they were to Adam Stern about pushing you to get outside your comfort zone. What does that mean? And what does that mean to you?
I think, Jeff wants us to, broaden our horizons and like I said a second ago, to Claire about, getting sponsors exposure and things. And I think that's really the root of probably what he was getting at. And he wants us to grow not only ourselves individually, but the sport as a whole. If the drivers are growing their following, then likely the sport's benefiting from it too. So, I think he's just trying to, help everybody win. And at the end of the day, if we're all gaining a following or popularity in a different area that we wouldn't typically be in, you're likely going to benefit, and likely we're all going to benefit.
Do you have a comfort zone? Do you know what's outside of it?
Yeah, I mean, we all have a comfort zone for sure. I think for me, I don't mind stepping outside my comfort zone. Where I sometimes struggle with wanting to go do things is I want to feel like those people want me there too. Like, you want to feel like someone cares about having you a part of their show or whatever it may be, not just to check a box for them. So when I feel appreciated and respected, I'm all in, and I'll go as far outside my comfort zone as they want to get.
Go to Heidi, Justin, and then Dustin.
Heidi McDonough from Racing Times Magazine. Thank you for being here today. We hear a lot about, the duels. It's a placement race for the 500. And we hear a lot about protecting that car because you can't wreck your car in the duels. But the fans also want to see a race. They don't want to watch that single car, follow the leader thing. Has there been a lot of talk among the drivers on how to protect yourself but also give the fans a race, because it's all about the fans?
Yeah, well, that is the race. I mean, that is part of racing some days. And you either like that or you don't. I mean, I don't really know. I hate to be that way, but it's, at the end of the day, we're going to do what we feel like is going to give us the best shot to win at the end of the day on Sunday. And, what that looks like sometimes might not be what people want to see all the time. But that's just the way it unfolds. I mean, would I love to mix it up for 500 miles? Absolutely, I would love to put on the most exciting thing ever for 4 hours. But I also want to win. I want to win worse than I want to, just make sure it's super entertaining, and that keeps integrity in our sport, and as long as we have integrity in what we do, and we all want to win, then I think the fans and the people are going to appreciate it. So I think that's an important piece, of just keeping integrity in what we have going on, and making sure everybody still wants to win, and do all those, make all those right decisions to put themselves in the right position to do that.
Go to Justin.
Chase, the last time a Hendrick driver made it to victory lane during the Daytona 500 was Dale Jr. back in 2014. You guys have won every single pole since then, except for 2020. Do you feel like you guys are focusing too much on qualifying day and not so much on race day? And how do you guys go about trying to fix that for this year's 500?
No, I mean, I don't think we've put too much emphasis on that. Qualifying day is really just kind of a testament of how much speed your car has. So I would rather have that than not. And I feel like we have, on more than one occasion down here, I've probably crashed one of the fastest cars during the Daytona 500, and I was driving it. So I think we've had plenty of opportunities. We just got to be smart about our decisions and do better jobs behind the wheel.
Going to go to Dustin, Daniel, and then I think we have a question on the far left side.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Chase, before this event 2 years ago, there wasn't a dirt race on the schedule. There weren't some of the road courses that were on the schedule. Certainly seeing changes of schedule, the car, and things like that. Can you give me a sense of, from your perspective, how much you've seen the sport evolve just in the last 2 years, but also with all these big changes, how much more can things handle, or what are the things to be, is it good to still continue to be aggressive, or where's that kind of line from what you've experienced?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I don't make those decisions, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But I think I have been really I've been supportive of the leadership group at NASCAR here currently. I mean, I feel like they've changed more in the past 2 or 3 years than they changed in the prior 25. It's the way it feels. Just kind of looking back at history, but I don't know where that line is. We have a sold out crowd on Sunday for the Daytona 500, and this place is expected to be packed infield and out there. So I guess they're doing it right. I mean, I don't know a lot. It seemed like everybody liked the Clash. which was definitely outside the norm. So yeah, seems fine to me from my end, but it's hard to know where that line is. I'm not sure. It's a great question.
All right, we're going to go Daniel, and we'll work hard to get these last two questions in quickly, guys.
All right, Daniel McFadden, FrenchRicher.com. Chase, going off of what Jenna asked you earlier, when it comes to like sponsors and stuff, has there been anything in the last few years in your career where a sponsor came to you with an idea for how to utilize you that maybe you said no to because it clashed with your personality or what you want? And outside of wanting to feel appreciated or liked by the audience you're being presented to, are there any other boxes that you check off before you say yes to something?
That's a Ryan's telling y'all to quit asking me questions because he's ready to go tee off. Yeah, ready to hit that drive. Anyways, yeah, I'm sure there's been things I've said no to at some point. But it doesn't just mean that doesn't happen. There might just be a little different way of getting there or achieving what the partner wanted. I feel like we typically try to make it work. If they have an idea, something that's going to give you some exposure or whatever it may be, I feel like we, 9 times out of 10, find a way to make that happen. So I don't know how to answer that, but we pretty much do. Do what we can to please our partners, and also too, it is sometimes super useful on our end too. When a partner activates with you, it's not just them, that's benefiting. If you're being activated on a national level, you're benefiting too, just by being there, and it goes both ways. So also appreciative of the opportunities that I've had to get on that stage and be able to do that, and that's all because of a partner, likely.
Going to wrap up on the far left side.
Mike Lisakowski, Pittsburgh Sports Radio. We've heard a lot about merchandising, marketing today, and kind of along the lines of the last question. Do you have any memories as a child, or have you discussed with your dad how different a day in the life of a NASCAR driver is now compared to his days of more hands-on in the shop?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, when his days of racing in the 80s were much different than his days of racing were in the early 2000s. So, 2002 was 20 years ago, right? So, I mean, that's still a long time ago, really, if you think about it. And at that point, I feel like the model of how things work is very similar, from jobs being more individualized at the shop, guys starting to be hired to do specific things, and then the drivers being hired to do their specific thing too, as it pertains to driving and taking care of partners and making sure we're doing the things we need to be doing. So I feel like the model's been pretty similar for a number of years now. I mean, I think people think about the heyday, what they think is the heyday, and yeah, it was different in the 80s and 90s, but I feel like when we got to the early mid 2000s, I feel like we were well on the path to what we have now, and not far from it.
All right, Chase, thanks for joining us. Good luck this week.
Thank you.